Upanishad means sitting at the feet of a teacher. Now, feet represents what? Well, you go to the bathroom with your feet. You walk on dirt with your feet. You go to the bar with your feet. Your foot takes you the dirtiest, the crummiest of places. Why do you sit at the feet of your teacher? Because you've come to a place where you realize you're lower than dust. You're more insignificant than dirt. So much so that you're unworthy to be stepped upon by your teacher. So it's the ultimate act of humility and passivity. There are 4 things that will take place when you work with a teacher. The only way that you will find yourself at the feet of anyone is when you love them. And you can't love anyone that quickly. It's impossible because they mess your life so much that it's difficult to like them or even love them. What usually happens, something about the person that you meet, you find very, very attractive. Because we are rational, because all of us in this class play chess in the sense that we kind of try to figure out why things are happening. You're in the process of kind of discovering. You try to use your rationality, you try to use your history to figure out why you're attracted to some person. But the thing you need to know that there is no proper explanation, adequate explanation as to why you're attracted. Now, should the dragon of doubt not destroy the seed of attraction as you spend more time with the person or the teacher you're working with? You become a bit more curious. In curiosity, you pay more attention, you become more aware, you become more mindful as to how you should be or not be around this particular person, and you begin to ask questions. It doesn't mean you understand your questions, but you're just more involved. Your curiosity turns into interest. Now remember, as you move up the ladder, your relationship with your teacher becomes more and more intimate and more monogamous. In other words, you can't just go to other people and ask questions and talk. It doesn't work that way. The presence of this particular person has contaminated you. You can't walk anywhere else except where this person is. Now, at every stage, it has its own unique fears and doubts. It's not a free ride. It's not going to be comfortable. You're always going to be worried. You're always going to be fearful. Why? Because as you move up, you lose some things from your life. And the things you lose, some of them you're very attached and you very much enjoy them. Then what happens is there comes a point where you are infatuated. And remember again, the more you move up the ladder, the more passive you become. Infatuation means to some extent you have lost about 80% of your willpower. You don't want to go to his house, but there is no place else to go, so you go. You want to call your friends and have a good time with them, but you realize, well, no, I'd rather just be home and just sulk in my depression. Infatuation, again, it means then that you don't really have very much power about yourself and about your life. Most of what lives inside you is a teacher you're working with. Then you have obsession. Obsession means that about 90-95% of who and what you are is occupied, invaded by your teacher, his or her will, his or her desires. Now, one of the things you need to understand is your relationship with your teacher is always going to be unequal. Your teacher will always have more power than you, Now, the way it usually works, especially in this culture, is this. There is only really one type of relationship that Americans know, and that's romanticism. That when you spend a lot of time with some stranger, eventually you begin to like them, and then you become infatuated with them, then you're obsessed over them, and there comes a point where you love them. And love is a very possessive, very self-centered, very selfish. It contains a great amount of selfish and possessive emotions within it. Okay, so you want to just hold on to this person, and you don't want them to go anywhere. You want all of their attention. And so the point I'm trying to make is sometimes when you have this understanding that the jealousy, the envy, the possessiveness that you and I exercise in these three in this world, we also bring in this world. We are still novices. You still want the attention of your teacher, all of his or her attention to yourself and no other. Now, then you get to a place of love. That's the first thing. Without love, you don't have the capacity to survive the hurricane of your teacher's presence, his physical presence, emotional presence, intellectual presence, and spiritual presence. It is awesome. They will always tell you you are wrong, and the truth is you are. They will always tell you you're stupid, and the truth is you are. And if you don't have enough love inside you, you're going to say, man, I've been beaten up tonight. I'm never going to go back there. So the only component that will protect your relationship with your teacher is if you have enough love. If you have love, it'll allow your teacher to abuse you. And by abuse, I mean this. Whatever addiction you have here is through his abuse that you will lose your addiction to the high iron stage. If you have enough love, he will abuse you to get rid of your attachments in the bronze or the silver. It'll be much easier for you to walk away from your own past if you love. Once you fall in love, you will allow yourself to be harassed, you will allow yourself to be abused, and you will never, ever, ever complain. It doesn't mean that you won't complain once in a while. And now, because it is an unequal relationship, you want to possess your teacher, but he or she is not meant to be possessed by anyone. The only person who is able to possess a teacher is the love that lives in him and the wisdom that lives in him. He exercises humility to these two only. This is what he adores. And students go to him first to fall in love, then love pushes them into this darkness. If they can survive the darkness, if love finds the students worthy, wisdom will be revealed to them.